Hello there, welcome to the Standpoint. Welcome to the month of May. Welcome to Mother's Month on the Standpoint. Hi, you are in for a treat this month. In fact, it's always exciting. It's always informative, very educative. It's always fun. It's always challenging on the Standpoint. But this month is going to be extraordinary. You know, I think for the month or for the year 2021 is the extraordinary woman. And we are celebrating some extraordinary women this month of May. And we are kicking off with some testimonies, some miracles. Today, my mothers, two mothers, they are mothers of miracle babies. They are mothers of miracle babies. Trust me, you'll be amazed, you'll be blown away with their stories. It will give you hope. It will give you strength. It will give you determination, focus. Anyway, let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth, my dress today, my skirt and top is by Brie Redua. Thank you so much to her. And as always, makeup products by Note Cosmetics. And my new makeup artist for the month of May is Face of McDowell. Thank you so much to her. Welcome back to the Standpoint. The month of May is here, and it's our Mother's Month on the Standpoint, and it's going to be exciting. And today, I'm starting with testimonies and miracles. But before I go on, let me say thank you to our sponsors. That is GTP Timeless. GTP is on a campaign to make sure that you and I wear the quality, authentic, and original GTP. There's a campaign called Oga. No, not Dohine Gifty and Oka. This is original, genuine, and authentic GTP fabrics. You know, you can get the quality and original from any wooden shop or any of the accredited GTP shops across the country. You can also go online to www.buygtp.com and you'll get it. The original one. Thank you to Esteron Balloons and Accessories, everything balloons and accessories. Thank you. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And for our month of May, our major sponsor for the 1 month Mother's Month package and sponsorship and support packages that we've offered many companies out there is Slum Technologies. Slum Technologies. Thank you so much to them. And let me come to my set today. I have two amazing women. And my stream left, I have Mrs. Joanna Amma Osei Tutu. Let's just call her Mama of Two Miracle Babies. The Mama of Two Miracle Babies. Amma, welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you very much.
Next to her is my prodigal sister. She's my younger sister. She's evil. She's terrible. But she loves me to bits, and I love her too. She's Mrs. Whitney Boache Mensah. She's the CEO of Innovations Events, WBM. And she's also a living testimony, a working miracle, amazing, very unassuming, but I even have goosebumps because I know the story, but she needs to tell it herself. Welcome to the Standpoint, finally.
I knew that was coming.
Finally. Good to see you. Good to see you, Amma.
Thank you.
Amma, before the miracle happened, what was the one question that you hated people to ask you?
Actually, I remember someone was coming to my house once, and the person needed directions. So they were asking, and then I love dogs, so I had about 6 dogs at that time. Mm-hmm. And the person used Ghana to tell the person asked the direction, oh, the house that has no children but has dogs inside.
Whoa.
So that was and I hardly, I leave the house early, I come back very late, but that's how she responded to the person. Oh, the house with dogs. You don't hear children, but you hear dogs when you knock on the house.
People have amazing ways of being mean, isn't it? Whitney, what was that question you hated to hear?
When will you stop wearing high heels and have babies? And the numerous times you hear that somebody is, the crews are preparing a wife for the man because you've decided that you don't care. So many times. Then the one that didn't get to me, like, when somebody says something about you, you don't care until the person is somebody who you considered a friend.
A friend, yeah.
So this one, I was called in to hear the conversation, and it was one of my bridesmaids and another friend at lunch, and the conversation was me and the fact that we were on, I think, the 5th miscarriage and the 2nd stillbirth. The fact that Nana and I, we like sex. So we use sex in killing the babies before they come. Yeah, my bridesmaid.
But did you say 5, your 5th miscarriage?
Yes. Before Junior, the first one, we had 6 miscarriages, 2 stillbirths. And then after him, nothing. Now the miscarriage won't even happen. Nothing. Secondary, they call it secondary infertility. Nothing. Then 6 years later, another miscarriage. Then L happens. And then 9 months later, 9 months later.
It's also okay. When the time comes,
yes.
It's somewhere.
9 months later, BBM happens. So, yes.
So in total, you had how many miscarriages?
7
7
miscarriages and 2 stillbirths, all boys.
So you got pregnant 9 times, then you came home with no child.
Yeah. All boys.
All boys.
Yeah.
All boys.
Yeah. That's when
God. When we are over 150 years and we go to heaven, we have questions for him. Or
loads of questions. All boys. Yeah.
Amma, did you also experience that? Did you have miscarriages?
I lost triplets.
I have this one. You triplets after how many years of waiting?
6 years.
After 6 years of waiting.
Yes.
You got pregnant with triplets.
I got pregnant through IVF.
Triplets.
Triplets.
And you lost all 3.
I lost them.
How did you feel?
So it was actually losing the triplets was when I gave up. Because it was not I gave up, but it was my final point with God. And I remember that night, so it wasn't unlike Whitney's own where the pregnancy had advanced a bit and you saw the baby. So I went for my antenatal, there was a sack. And then when you spend enough time in gynaes, you can read their facial experience.
Yeah.
So he looks at my father and he looks and he's like, how long are you? How far are you? And I said it because I was after an IVF treatment. So he looks at the gaze and goes, I want to take a lab. I want to read something. Then I said, no problem. So I took the lab the following day. And by that time I had perfected how to open. I hope my guy is not watching this. I have perfected how to open the envelope.
Watching,
how to perfect opening the envelope.
Without they knowing.
Read the results and reseal this. So by the time I took it up from airport, I knew the results. Yeah. And I knew I had lost my pregnancy. So I just sealed it up, drove to the clinic, and I gave it to him. So he opened it up and then he looked at the scan, and he was like, let me take another scan. Then now the sack was totally gone. So within 24 hours, I had gone from a sack with babies to almost nothing. Actually, not almost nothing. So then he said, well, I can't explain it, but I can't find the baby. I can't find a sack.
But you're a strong person because you knew the result, but you still drove.
I had to.
But you can crash with me. I said, oh.
And yet, it's that thing where I come from a very religious, my father's a reverend minister.
Okay.
My mother was very systematic. So we are taught to follow things through, no matter how it is, take it to the end.
Yeah.
So I have the lab results in my hand. So I had to take it to the end. I had to take it to the person who had asked me to get this done. So he finished it and gave it to me. He asked me if I wanted a copy.
Right.
And I said, sure, because my husband wasn't with me.
Okay.
So he gave me a copy and then kept the original on file. So I got home and I gave it to him. Then I went to the room. But I think when I entered the house, he could see.
Yeah, that something had gone wrong.
So I just gave the envelope to him and then I went to the room as usual to go and change. And then I think he read it. I mean, he took it and then he came to the bedroom.
What conversation did you have with God that evening?
It wasn't that evening. It was, that evening I didn't speak. I just cried. I cried till the following morning. The following morning at 5 a.m., my father was at our house and he couldn't sleep. So he came and I was like, I'm okay. I'm truly, truly, truly okay. And so he stayed for about a few hours. The following morning, when I was going to work, because I took that day off, and I remember driving out, I told God and I said, we have been on this journey for 6 years. My brain. There is no prayer I have not prayed to you. There is nothing I have not asked. There is nothing medically I've not done. I wasn't going to go to a shrine. I wasn't going to go to any herbalist. I wasn't going to go to any pastor. I wasn't going to go for any anointing oil. I'm from a Presbyterian home. I've lived in a man's my whole life until I got married. I was brought up near Basiniba.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what it means. You've taken so many things away from me this year. You took my mother away in February, March. You took away my triplet in October. I'm done with you. When you are ready to give me a child, give it to me. I won't ask you again. I won't plead with you again. Your will said, I mean, and I said, I was like, maybe this is what you mean by thy will be done. So when your will is ready, let it be done. But me, Enuama, me misal biu. I won't ask you again ever. Say Peba. And that was it.
That is really a tough breaking point. Amma, I wish I could just carry you in my hand, but I can feel and understand that that point where you get to. Let me take a break. When we come back, there's still two stillbirths. So the babies were formed.
Yeah.
You saw a joint scan.
Yes.
And you gave birth.
Yes.
To the babies.
Naturally. All the pain, the cutting, the pursuit of me, all of that.
Did you hold the baby?
No, I didn't want to.
But you saw them?
I saw them. They actually, I didn't hold them, but they put the way they put them on you. So I saw them with all their hair and beautifully formed. But they say with boys, their balls have to drop for them to survive. And when they come preterm, that doesn't happen. So for both of them, that's all of them at 7.5 months.
7.5 months.
Yeah.
As for you, there's this sort of a consistency that God has,
Yes.
with you that...
when I was starting Wahala, when I was finishing Wahala.
Let me take a break today. I'm sure they can smile about it, we can love it, but the journey hasn't been. And even if you're watching us and you've been through that or you are waiting and it's not happening, I'm sure you are now sitting up because you realize you are not alone. Well, let me say thank you to all our supporters. Go Yogurt, Juice Time, Away Purified Mineral Water, Kodam's Gift and Stationery. Thank you so much to all of them. Thank you to House of Food, Auntie Vera. We are so grateful. Thank you to Yep Cleaning Services who take care of our environment. Remember, this program is aired on 5 platforms. That's Joy Prime, EBN TV, YouTube, Facebook, and then our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, which is powered by Dream Over. We take a break. When we come back, there's a lot to talk about. The Standpoint's special Mother's Month programs are sponsored by Maridas Local Foods, McDowell Couture, Links and Loops, Isron Balloons and Accessories, Pounds World, Sets Gifts and Eatery, Midas Foods, The Beauty Room and Spa, Inkunim Grocery Store and Sementia Frozen Foods, and Inkunim Foods. Our major sponsor for this month is Slum Technologies. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Say thank you to GTP for my cloth. My dress is by Brie Redwa. Thank you so much. Makeup products by Note Cosmetics. Very natural look, very light on the face, and their lip glosses and lipsticks. You know, you can't go wrong. Thank you so much to them. And thank you to Face of McDowell for my face with, for my makeup. Thank you so much. Irama. Mama.
Yes, Mom.
Obapa. So you had that conversation with God.
Yes.
And then truly you kept to your word?
I kept to it.
You didn't pray about it again?
I didn't. If others did for me, I don't know.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know this, I heard this, you know, they call it a prayer investment.
Yeah.
You know, the bank, you bank it, you know, so there's time you go off and then it's still working for you. So it took how long before you had a child?
So that was...
Finally.
My daughter was born a year after.
A year after?
A year after that prayer.
So that means months after you got pregnant?
Yeah.
That's good, eh? And what were your fears during that pregnancy?
Well,
if you had any?
Well, I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was almost 12 weeks, sorry.
Me, I'm actually.
Sugar fry. But honest, I wasn't worried. I wasn't afraid that I was going to lose. I don't know why. Maybe at the back of my mind once in a while. But I think, again, I went to him and I said, okay, I said I wouldn't ask. You've given it to me. I receive. But I'm not going to go through morning sickness. I'm not going to go through all the pain I've gone through with the treatments, all the morning sick, the in-quote morning sickness, all the nausea, all this. I can't go through it again with a real pregnancy. So as smooth as this one can be,
let it be.
Let it be. And I drove myself to the hospital for my delivery.
Wow.
You drove yourself to the hospital?
Well, I sat in the driving seat. At some point I was sacked. But yeah, I drove myself to the day I went to deliver.
Wow.
I was uncomfortable.
After the IVF that gave you triplets and you lost the triplets, you didn't do any treatment, nothing, then bam. When you least expected, you were almost, 3 months pregnant, gone through the first trimester.
Yeah.
And that is how.
That's how I got my first child.
Indeed. The first child. There's a second one. I'll come back to you. But Winnie, you had yours after the faith miscarried. Junior, how did you find out that you were carrying a baby?
Okay, so unlike her, who decided she won't go here, she won't go here, she won't go here, me, I went.
Why would you go?
You see, I think for her, it's different when you also do what we do. So you are in people's faces.
Yeah.
And then you get the pressure. And then if you are, in quote, you're married to somebody who comes from a home where Presbyterians, concron, all that.
Yeah.
And then there she is.
Yeah.
Don't go.
No,
so they tend to look at you more like, then she's probably the problem.
Yeah.
So prayers, I don't know which church I haven't gone to in this country. I gave up on the church bit when there was one of the consultations. They said, as usual, when they finish the prayers, those who want the fruit of the womb should wait behind. And then they had queued us and they said, will you go one after the other? And then when it was my turn, the so-called prophet said that, the sperm to have my baby was with him.
Even my cameraman, I like me.
And then naturally I asked how. So how do I get that? Then one of his assistants said, hey, madam, you bisa questions. So. And I said, obviously, if the sperm to have the baby from God is with you, and the baby to survive, because for me, I carry, but they do not survive. How do I get it? Then he said, they've done it for a lot of women, and that nobody asks questions, so why am I asking questions? So they got upset and said, then I should go and think about it. Then I made the mistake of calling a very good family friend to tell her, and then she said, oh, I should come to her house so we talk, and that she goes to this church, we can discuss it.
The same church where you were told the sperms?
No, a different church. And that, when I went to see her, she said, oh, and her husband is very good friends with Nanaya. So it was easier to go to them. And they've had twins, they've had babies after the twins and all that. So I went to see her and she said, oh, their church, I would have to come to her to the sea at 12 midnight.
That's wonderful.
Yes, that's why I haven't come to sit here, because if I tell you outside, you will beat me. The things I have done. But out of desperation,
that's wonderful.
You will do things.
Yeah.
You will do things.
I totally understand.
And that's when we go at 12 midnight, the head of their church, they will call her, she will come. When she comes, they will call the spirit of my mother and my father. They will call Nanaya's mother and his father, their spirit, and ask them why our babies are not surviving. Then afterwards, we will take a crate of Guinness, a crate of beer, a crate of malt, and mineral. Then they'll go and use it for rituals and all that. Then I said, so they will drink it. I had to ask.
Yeah.
Then yes. Then she said, yes, that's what they will do. And then I would have to do giving, alms giving, and all that. And then when she got irritated by the questions I was asking, and then she said her husband has even told her that Nanaya is contemplating on another woman to check if it will happen and the baby will survive and all that. Nana, when I left there, I forgot I drove there. I walked from Dansoman Runabout to First Light. Before I remember that, I drove there. Because I was just thinking that under normal circumstances, who is she even to even tell me all this and all that? Then an aunt told Nanaya that, oh, there's a church on the Nkoko Road.
So, wait, did you go to the seaside?
No, that one I did not go.
Okay.
I think the 12 midnight is lately that now when you are seeking God, you wake up early. But then
waking up early wasn't in your dictionary.
No. And the fact that we're going to the sea, I kind of knew what this was playing at. So she said, oh, the church, they are very good, we should go and all that. Nanaya didn't want to go, but I said, you know what, let's do it. You get there, the latest at 5:30 a.m. You have to fast that day. And then the junior pastors will preach from 5:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Hey.
And the cast that you see there, we all want babies. Then the head pastor will come. They believe only in the Old Testament. They come, then they will do their churching, then afterwards they do consultation. When it was at 10, I went with my husband in, and I was asked to strip. Yes, because they said there was a white calico in the room. 6 of his juniors here, 6 of his juniors here, and then the two of us were standing, and he was standing next to the calico. He said spiritually, they could see that I was pregnant, so I had to strip for them to see, and I did. Then I was given a concoction. We were both asked to drink it. Then they gave us a concoction in a bath bucket, and we're told to go and bath with it there, and given other things to bring home. Then we came home. Then the next day I started bleeding. Black. It won't stop. Went to hospital. There's nothing wrong with me, but I was just bleeding. Then there was a stench in the house that won't go away. We lifted chairs. We did everything. It was still there. Nothing was dead in the house. We hadn't brought any bad meat, nothing. So I had to go and confess to my Reverend Minister that
this is what you had done.
This is where we went. Then he came home. They started praying. Then he said, hey, the two of you, do you know what you've gone to bring to this house? Because spiritually we can see. and how if we had gone ahead to have a baby, the problems we had gone to bring. So after that, I kind of told him, I think that day was that for some funny reason, and I was packing something, so he was holding on to a onesie of a baby. And then he started crying and asking him that, what have we done to God? I think I even asked him at some point that, did he have a girlfriend that I came to kick out? And because of that, she says something. You mean you ask all the questions?
Yeah.
So when he left, I think he called my mom, because this is our Reverend Minister of old. And then my mom got worried. She was in the UK then. She got worried, and she also spoke to my stepdad. And then he said, okay, I have a friend, Guiney, who I want you guys to visit. I said, I won't go. I was done. I won't go. I'm done with the pokings, the checking your temperature. I was done with everything that had to do with the baby. Then he said, Nana said, you, for the sake of your mom, let's try this one last time. And it was the first time I had walked into a gynae's room, and he never asked anything to do with a baby. In fact, we had a conversation throughout, but he never asked us. It was when we were leaving that he just said that because of all the things we've been through, the files, everything, he just wants to flush my system. And then we should just take it easy. So we did that. They checked, and I said, both of you do not have a problem. Just take it easy. Have fun. Be normal. Do not listen to anybody, nothing. And we said, okay. 6 months down the line, I had a cold. That won't go. Then Nana said, okay, why don't we go and see him? And then we went to see him. Then he said, okay, do a urine test. Funny thing is, when I'm pregnant, urine test, it doesn't work with me. Mm-hmm. So then they'll have to do a blood test. Then he said, I can't ask the two of you when was the last time you made love, but I need to ask. Mm-hmm. And we said, oh, you said we should have fun.
So you'll be having fun.
So we'll be having
fun.
That'd be great. Already now, you see anything and a baby.
Yes. Then he said, okay, he wants to do a scan. So we went. As soon as the machine touched my abdomen, you could hear the sound in the room.
Yeah, I know. That boom, boom, that sound, I can never forget it. That heartbeat.
But for us, you can't even get excited.
Because it's normal.
Because there's a history.
It's a history. 6 times already.
So he said, you will need to take it easy. What we'll have to do now is to stitch you up. And you need to rest. And up until I crossed 36 weeks, I didn't want to have any attachment with the baby. Mm. Because what if you have an attachment and this one also does not stay? I just couldn't take that emotion again. So 36 weeks. Then Dr. Saka says, are you going to do it natural or you want CS? He gave me the option. And I said, I can't do a natural birth. I can't do all the pain, the episiotomy, everything. I can't go through that emotion again. He said, okay, then it means that I don't want to risk anything. At 37 weeks, we're going. You know, when they wheeled me into the theater, I saw the lights like this. Then my BP shot up. So they just put me off. But when they took him out, I heard him. That I did. And then I heard faintly Dr. Saka saying that, that's my godson. You people better not mess him up. I think my mother and my grandmother, if they knew how to get drunk that day, they would have gone on that spree. Funny thing, I was supposed to have the CS on a Wednesday. Then some funny thing happened in the hospital. Then they said a Thursday. Then Anaya said, God is giving him
A son.
his son. So he needed to come on
Okay.
his day.
Day.
And we hadn't decided on names and all that because,
Yeah, you don't want to jinx it.
Then next month is 12 years. 12 years. On that Thursday, 28th of May, we had that boy.
Hold on, let me take a break. Well, you're watching The Standpoint. This is the first Sunday in May. This is our month of motherhood, mothering, and you're hearing the realities, what some women go through to have a child. Again, I say thank you to our sponsors. That's GTP Timeless, and then SRN Balloons and Accessories. Our major sponsor for this month of May is Slum Technologies. Thank you so much to them, and thank you to all those who have come on board to support us. We are so grateful. Thank you to our supporters. You got Away Purified Mineral Water, Royal Drinks, Juice Time, 100% fruit juices, Yep Cleaning Services, Kodam's Gift and Stationery, Dream Oval, Cake Technique, House of Food, all of them, all of you. We are so grateful. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint, and let me go straight to my panel. And Amma, so you had a first daughter. How long did it take you before you had the second one? Okay, on that note.
6 months.
Open the floodgate to all. Hey!
So 6 months after my daughter was 6 when I started 6 months. I started feeling the same tummy problems again. But this time I realized it earlier. So I went back to my gynae and I said, oh, my people told me when you are breastfeeding exclusively and you are. And then he said, are you only breastfeeding? So when you are breastfeeding exclusively.
I like that. You only breastfeeding.
When you are breastfeeding exclusively, it kind of he's like, what's your problem? I said, oh, doctor, I think, you think what? I said, my tummy has started again. I said, okay, I won't even ask for urine sample. Let me check you. I was 6 weeks pregnant. I was 6 or 7 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
I called and told my father, I was saying, I would try. So I remember that night. So my husband was in the room with us for the first night because I CS. And he was, from day one, they were like this.
Okay.
And I remember I woke up around midnight. I just kept staring at her in the court. And I would just stare. And you know how people say, when I saw her, my heart beats and I felt, I just kept staring at her and I was I looked at her for like 2 hours and I was like, why? What took you so long? What took you so long? I think it took me about 2 weeks, more than a week, where before finally I could look at her and I knew I loved her. But it took me like a week and a half where...
For the motherhood instinct
to
kick in.
It wasn't postpartum?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
It just... There were so many things that happened. It was like, why did I have to... I remember a friend even asked when he came to visit me. He was like, when I think of your story, I want to ask God, why did you have to put her through all this?
You went through postpartum at a point. Is it after junior? Or after junior you had postpartum?
After junior I had postpartum. Fortunately, my gynae realized that no, the excitement I left the hospital with 6 weeks later when we came, I didn't have that excitement because I also felt like this is Nanaya and I who had been through hell and high water. And then now when he comes, his aunt is making him baby papa. So they have to say and all that. So I didn't have my best friend again.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt alone in all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to go through that and then admit to myself that if I didn't even know that inwardly, I had said to myself that I don't ever want to go through this again. So the 6 years of the dry season,
You blamed.
Your system was fighting it.
yes. And I had to pray and forgive myself for even being guilty about that emotion.
Right.
Funny enough, it was after that El Nathan happened. Then I had a cold again.
The cold and stuff.
The cold, I tell you.
The cold and stomach problems.
This was a cold after
Consistent.
Valentine's Day.
I remember that story.
Because I was breastfeeding too.
See,
And I've been
breastfeeding
told
problem.
when you are breastfeeding.
It can happen.
And then this is me that 6 years, nothing happened. So nothing will happen. And it
So you
wouldn't
thought
be.
it's going to be another 6 years before.
Another one will happen.
Oh.
In fact, a friend of mine has a joke that she says, I'm an elephant. I give birth and then nothing happens and I give birth again. So I went to antenatal with Elle and then I just said, well, let me pass by my doctor's place and tell him that I'm not feeling too good. I feel all this. Fortunately, I was with Nana, so we passed there and then he said, you know what, let me just do a scan and see. And I said, scan for what? He said, let me do a scan with me. And then there was the heartbeat. In fact, the heartbeat was there and I was still asking, are you sure? He said, hey, Udi Valentine.
Yeah, happy Valentine.
I said, hey, but he's just 9 months too.
9 months, 6.
He said, yes, you're pregnant. I could not believe it. Me, 9 months apart, I'm having another baby.
After all these years, 9, pregnancies with.
God.
Yeah.
9 months apart. And I think at that point, God was trying to tell me something. Because I had told him when I had Elle that, I wanted to be there for other women going through this. Then when I had my second one, I said, forget. So as soon as my body accepted that, there's another one coming. From day 1 to 34 weeks when I was bleeding, my cervix had opened. I couldn't even walk. The pregnancy was literally killing me. I was half my body size. I was dark. Yeah. Everything bad, you remember?
Yeah.
It's so dark.
Yes, everything bad that had to do with the pregnancy, I experienced everything.
Yeah.
Then when the service, I woke up and the blood was on the bed. I called him. He said they should rush. It was a Saturday morning, but they should bring me. He would do an emergency CS. And when Baby Miracle came out, he was blue. And you see, because it was just 9 months, so they just had to cut. The incision hadn't healed fully. Just had to cut one time. They were in the womb, and I was lying. This time, I was seeing everything that was happening. He was blue, and we had to be psyched up that because he was 34 weeks, anything could happen. He was not crying, nothing. From the theater, oxygen. He was, so when Nanaya was at work, no, he was not at work. I think he had left for something because we had Elle who was 9 months.
Yeah.
So he had to stay with him at home. And I sent him a message that it is not good news. And I am not feeling too good. So Dr. Saka left and told them that they should let him know whatever is happening hourly. Now, until date, they can't find the said doctor who came to my ward. I was in a side ward. I was telling them that I could feel half of my body going numb. I was in pain. She said, oh, are you the only person who's had a baby through CS? They should bring the baby. They should take him off from oxygen and bring him. So I tried breastfeeding, and that his lungs will open because the lungs were not opening. His balls were not dropping. They tried that 3 times. Apparently, my stitch was open, and I was bleeding away. And the baby's heart rate had dropped. So when they realized that, then they called Anaya and told him that we were both dying. So they needed ambulance to take us to 37. My brother said, I was obviously I was gone. The baby was ashen. We were both on oxygen when they were leaving, but I was wearing my late mom's nightie when they wheeled me out. And it was a December. I had the baby in November, but we're in the hospital all that time. So it was a December. My mom died in December. So for him, it was not good news. And he was holding on to the second baby. But he says, Nanaya sat at the front of the ambulance, and as soon as the sirens went off, he started crying. That, I mean, who is he taking home? His wife or that baby? And who will come back home with him? And they took us to 37. When they got there, my blood was 0.4. Yeah. My blood was 0.4, so I needed infusions. Baby Miracle was the only baby that survived that year in the NICU. And I remember standing there, and I said to God that if my baby and I will walk out of that hospital alive, no woman will go through what I had been through and walk that path alone. That was all I needed from him. And I had never said a prayer like that. Then they wheeled me back.
Nanama, unfortunately my time is up, but in 30 seconds, how would you sum up your life, your journey to motherhood and through motherhood? Is that motherhood?
The will of God. It's been the will of God, but most importantly, I was fortunate for the support I had in my internal family. My own biological internal family and the in-laws I was blessed with.
Okay.
They never once asked me. They never once made me feel inadequate because I hadn't produced a child. My in-law would never come to my house without calling me a week ahead of time to ask me, who feels at the and I. They never once made me feel like I wasn't worthy. Or when I listen to some women talk about how their in-laws make them feel because they haven't produced a child. I never had that with my in-laws. I never had that pressure from them or from my family. My immediate, and when I say if I'm not talking about the external can do what they want to do. But for me, those who mattered, those whose opinion I cared about, they never gave me that pressure for them.
Whitney.
My life, I do not have a testimony. I am the testimony.
Yeah.
And you said something about us leaving the men behind because we assume they do not also go through the emotions.
Yeah. You know, fortunately, next month is going to be Father's Month. And I'm going to talk to fathers who have been through, because it's one thing we assuming, and we would want to hear from the fathers themselves, what they go through. And I'm asking you, you have to give me some fathers like that. You know, fathers, what they go through waiting for that period.
And seeing their spouses go
through that. Because not every man is able to stay, because many a time we better know too.
Yes.
Without you knowing. They're the way one, and sometimes the pressure they put on them. Whitney.
I'm thankful for that support from my husband. Because when you have that support from him, it's easier to face the world.
Yeah.
I remember he would tell people that God was probably waiting for him to get money because God knows how he wants his children to turn out. And he was always the one who would say, when it passes, it will come. It will come. I keep teasing him that as a father, I would want a father like him, but not a husband like him. Because Nanaya's fatherhood is beautiful.
Yeah.
I think they all are.
Yeah. Okay.
But I am especially thankful that I have become the vessel God is using
Right.
to tell other women that wait on me and it will happen.
That is well. In his own
On
time.
my dear sister's keeper, we are seeing the miracles of waiting.
Yeah.
And I think if we didn't have stories like that, we hadn't walked down that path, we wouldn't know what to say at every point in time. And I am thankful for women like you,
Amen.
who fight battles that sometimes you do not even know about. When they are done fighting, then they will tell you, this person that you're so free and kind with, this is the battle I have gone to fight. Every woman needs that. We are supposed to have sisters keepers
Yeah.
who fight battles we have no idea about. So I am thankful for that.
Yeah, we thank God. And we are thankful for your lives. We are grateful that you decided to share your stories, because these are not easy stories to be told, especially to the whole world, on a program that you know will go very viral.
Yeah.
On behalf of the Standpoint, we want to say thank you and Aiko, and congratulations. Next week is Mother's Day, and we want to celebrate you. Okay, so first of all, we have this glow tea. It's from the Beauty Room and Spa. You also have a gift voucher to go for massage and pedicure and what have you. So the two of you are getting the same thing. So let me pass it on first.
Thank you.
We have this for Midas Food, very good for the children and for the adults as well. Apart from Midas Food, we have this gift. This is you know, it's beads and chain necklace from, you know, links and loops. For you, each one of you is getting one. There you go. And then we have this hamper with goodies in it. We're here for home kitchen straight from Inkonim grocery store and frozen foods. For you, each one of you is getting ebusia. We also have honey. You know, from Inkunum local foods. Inkunum food, they do the pure honey, and of course makeup from Note Cosmetics. This is also from Sex. This is it. This is from Sex Gifts and Eatery. This is for you. Of course, I will go through. We are celebrating you today. And this is from Esron Balloons and Accessories.
Oh, wow.
You know, this is it. Winning Pacho, just see right. We also have, this is Gilly from McDowell Couture for you. This one is from Pounds World. I want you to open it to see what is inside. With a gift, that's a card on top of it. Pounds World. They do branding and everything. Open and see what is in there. Yes. And Whitney, that is yours as well. You have a, you know, a clutch in there.
Sure,
that's for you.
My husband will say, you are late everywhere now. You have your face on
You can't be late anymore.
And this is for you. So Whitney, you are also getting the same thing.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much.
You're also getting the same thing. And then finally, this one is, you know, Dakwa. this Maritas. They do this dakwa, mostly they export, but they sell this. It's really nice, different flavors, and then a mug as well. Okay, now finally, the big one. From Slum Technologies, they are on Slum 1 million campaign to make sure that 1 million, what's the rating? They said, transforming 1 million lives with excellent IT training. So you have this certificate as most deserving mother. Each one of you, you are going to take advantage of a training by Slum Technologies. The training is worth 1,200 Ghana cedis. Oh, wow. Each one of you. And aside that, they have some goodies in the bag. But then you are also getting a tablet from them. Each one of you, a mini tablet from them, from Slum Technologies. So this is for you. Wow. And that for you. And I know you will take advantage of it. That.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Every woman.
You just pushing. Okay, so I'll be back with a bit of me. The Standpoint's special Mother's Month programs are sponsored by Maridas Local Foods, Magdal Couture, Links and Loops, Isron Balloons and Accessories, Pounds World, Sets Gifts and Eatery, Midas Foods, The Beauty Room and Spa, Inkunim Grocery Store and Sementia Frozen Foods, and Inkunim Foods. Our major sponsor for this month is Slum Technologies. The road to motherhood. Whew. Every mother has a story to tell. The waiting moments. Some, yes, I mean, it just happens. But some have to go through a lot before it happens. And you know, some people sometimes wonder why mothers like me like to share, like to tell our stories. To some of them, we are doing something too much. But to many people, they understand because it blesses them. It gives them hope. I mean, in the past, no one talks about, you talk about miscarriages you've had. You will openly talk about the fact that you've had an IVF. You've openly talk about the fact that you had a cesarean section CS. It used to be a taboo. Even when we started the Standpoint 13 years ago, it was a taboo. And I remember the number of people who have come on the program to talk about, and after they've been attacked by family members because they were open. You see, we share our stories because there is healing. There is joy, there's fulfillment in knowing that because of your story, somebody else has hope. Somebody else has learned and went to look for help the right way and is now having a child. There's fulfillment in knowing that you telling your story, you finally find some closure and some joy and the boldness to wear your scars boldly. It's not easy. What some women have to go through, the places they have to, the concoctions they have to drink, the injection, the treatment, the pain. And for a late bloomer like me, 51 raising a 3-year-old child. Listen, if you're waiting, please do the right things and wait on God. Pray, but seek medical help. If you have it already, do not judge those who don't have it. And please, never, ever embarrass and try to disturb someone who is waiting to have a child. It is well. It is well. As you cry, thinking about why yours hasn't happened, remember the number of women who went to the theater room and didn't come back in the name of wanting children. God knows best. No, it's not easy for me to say, but God knows best. And in his own time, it will happen. Happy Mother's Month to every single mother out there, to every single woman out there. I am a woman with super crazy faith in God. May God give each and every woman out there seeking for a child a testimony and a miracle. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.